What's up, guys? Welcome to the first Punk Raw recap. As I explained yesterday in the last of the original Punk YouTube episodes, I'm going to be splitting each of the shows up into individual review segments. So obviously today Raw, well yesterday was Raw, so I'm going to be recapping that now, and subsequent following shows are going to be recapped separately. Hopefully that means that you won't have to put up with me talking for 10-15 minutes and being bored out of your mind. It hopefully also means that I won't go every 5 seconds, which will probably bore you into, switching it off. So yesterday's Raw was the best of the year in my opinion. I think it's probably just slightly better actually than the post-WrestleMania episode of Raw. So that's quite a big thing to say. That's regarded by many fans as the annual best episode of Raw of the year. But this one, yesterday, just had everything. It had everything that an internet wrestling fan would want, and it also had something that most of the casual fans want, and that's actually wrestling. There's been a lot of complaints in the last couple of months and even the last couple of years because Raw, especially now since it's gone to 3 hours, doesn't actually feature enough wrestling. It's more storyline orientated and doesn't feature enough wrestling. So you guys, for you can all shush, because last night actually featured 9, count them, 9 matches. And for better or for worse, there were 9 matches there. I mean, I know a couple of them weren't, they could be hardly qualified as wrestling matches. I mean, Great Khali, he's not really a wrestler, is he? He's more like WWE's way into the pockets of the Indian population. So, but that's my opinion there. So 9 matches, and at least 4 of them were absolute crackers. And we began actually unexpectedly with Vince and Stephanie McMahon opening up Raw, something that we haven't seen for a while. A lot of people kind of going back to the days of the Attitude Era, back when I was about 8 years old, so I can't really join in those nostalgic kind of throwbacks. So they opened up the show and they basically said that Triple H was forbidden from wrestling against Curtis Axel as it originally advertised. Triple H arrived, was pissed off, threatened to beat up Vince McMahon, left. It seems to be building towards some sort of summer angle, and it's good. It's good to have the McMahons back on TV. McMahons have long equalled ratings, especially Vince McMahon. Every time he's on the show, it perks up interest, and with him making an unadvertised appearance, it's only gonna, factor in the show being considered a decent one anyway. So a Raw is always a little bit more important, a little bit more better when a head honcho is on the show anyway, and that's my opinion. So obviously you got that kind of thing going on at the moment. Very heelish on the side of the McMahons actually. They kind of both laid into the fans a little bit. And so it should be interesting to see where that goes anyway. So leading on from there, you had the Shield in 6-man tag team action against Randy Orton and Team Hell No. Obviously again it's the Shield and Team Hell No, but as I said in the last episode of the Punk, it's those guys can steal the show every time, and they did it again. And Daniel Bryan in particular, last night was his night. Without any question, without any shadow of a doubt. Daniel Bryan wrestled twice in the opening tag team match, and wrestled in a later match against Ryback. And that match can probably go down as being the single best match of Ryback's career. That's obviously the general consensus, but I honestly think that Ryback was made to look vulnerable. He was also made to look very dominant. It was a good mix. It would have been nice if Bryan went over clean, but that's not going to be happening, especially with Ryback currently engaged with Cena in that Payback main event. So Daniel Bryan, it was his night, and he was superb, and it's a really good sign that the WWE are focusing on Daniel Bryan. He is, and I'm not afraid to say this, I think he is better than CM Punk. As a wrestler, I think he's more rounded. Obviously CM Punk has the edge with promos, but Daniel Bryan's come so far in his ability to handle the mic as well, and his furious absolute manic moveset at the moment is so exciting. You know, can't help but kind of grin from ear to ear every time I see it. So he is. I know obviously no CM Punk isn't on the show at the moment, but Daniel Bryan is the guy at the moment, and they definitely need to start thinking about putting a strap on him in the summer, because I think he could be the guy to carry the company through the summer and into the winter. So, you know, moving aside from Daniel Bryan as well, we also had a couple of other decent matches. We had Alberto Del Rio and Biggie Langston settle the score. It was their rubber match, because they were actually tied at 2 apiece. Obviously, it's just using up time until Dolph Ziggler comes back, and he's been cleared to wrestle again, by the way. Just thought I'd throw that in there, which is great news. So hopefully we'll see him on Friday Night SmackDown, if not next week on Raw. So the whole Del Rio Biggie thing was just used to cover up a little bit of time. And in all fairness, I know a lot of people moan about it, but it was a match that these guys have engaged in a feud which has been quite entertaining. It certainly revealed a lot into the character of Biggie Langston, and I think it's very likely that we could have some sort of split from him and Dolph Ziggler and AJ, obviously, and a potential face turn, because for those of you who don't know, Biggie Langston's actually wrestling still in NXT, and he's a face. So watching NXT and then watching Raw is a bit confusing for me. I always get a little bit kind of like, so yeah, and finally, closing out the show, we had John Cena taking on Curtis Axel in a no disqualification match. It was a bit of a main event to forget. I'm not sure where the WWE's logic is in having a no disqualification match with countouts. I don't get it. I haven't seen it in a while. I think the last time I saw it was a few years ago, and they used to do it in WCW as well, and it's never made any sense. And to me, a no disqualification match is a match that involves more than just a chair. But they did actually mix it up a little bit. For those of you who didn't see, Curtis Axel was given an iPad by Paul Heyman, and he used it to bash John Cena over the head with, and John Cena sold it like a sledgehammer shot. It was bizarre. It was very strange. I mean, it's a foreign object, I guess, but, you know, really, an iPad doing that much damage? Especially to John Cena as well, who's like Superman of professional wrestling. But moving aside, as I said, it was a good Raw, but it wasn't perfect. WWE still have issues. I mean, they still continue to put Great Khali on the show. They still continue to bury Wade Barrett, who's the reigning Intercontinental Champion, a title that, you know, 5 years ago even meant something. It just doesn't mean jack shit nowadays, and so it's really quite sad to see. And also, they had a Six Divas tag match between the Bella Twins, AJ, and the Funkadactyls, and the Divas champion, Caitlyn. And I think it was actually a carbon copy of a match they had a couple of weeks ago. I mean, they might as well have just taped that and interspliced it into the actual match, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did. It just seemed very familiar, and I don't know if you guys can help me out in actually telling me if they've done that match before, but basically it just saw AJ dump the Bella Twins and leave, and it didn't really do anything, go anywhere. So Sheamus continues his feud with Team Rhodes Scholars. I'm not sure if Team Rhodes Scholars are Team Rhodes Scholars anymore, but they're still going around, and it's just a pointless feud. But, you know, hey, I'm not booking. I wish I was. I think the product would be better, says everyone. So yeah, overall a very good Raw. I think it's just marginally better than the Raw that we saw after WrestleMania. Crucify me for that one, but please be nice. It should be very interesting to see where WWE go forward. And as I said during Extreme Rules and afterwards, I'm quite excited about where WWE are going in the summer, especially with the Wyatt family just about to debut, and Danny Ryan just being genuinely epic. Oh, and it should be noted as well, quickly before we go off the air, that the Chris Jericho and Paul Heyman contract signing flopped tremendously, and it ended with Chris Jericho taking the contract and sticking it down Paul Heyman's trousers. We'll see where that goes. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you all on Wednesday for the video review of Slammiversary. Till then.